Hakodate is a Japanese city with a population of 320,000. And for 15 citizens who arrived in Australia yesterday, the next 2 days will be spent travelling around the interest spots of Lake Macquarie. Last night at the Council Chambers, an official civic welcome was extended to all the sister city visitors, and it was a time for both parties to exchange gifts and well wishes for their future relationship. A special treat for the visitors was a recital by the Lake Macquarie Ensemble, who performed the Japanese national anthem as well as Hakodate's own city song. Last night was the first time that the council's new mayoral chain was paraded around the shoulders of Jeff Pasterfield. It represents the history of past presidents of the Lake Macquarie Shire from 1906 through to its present formation as a city. It's hoped that the Japanese visit and the link now between Hakodate and Lake Macquarie will strengthen international understanding and communication. The media conference at Newcastle's Tattersalls Club last night officially launched the Foster Size Stakes Classic. Special guests included State Treasurer Ken Booth, representatives from the State Harness Racing Authority, as well as golf personality and avid punter Jack Newton. A special event during the night was the barrier draw for the $8,000 Fillies race, as well as the big one, the $15,000 Colt and Geldings event. In anticipation of this Saturday night at the Newcastle Showground Paceway, local and Sydney race callers played out a phantom event.
Skitchin was well back, Mr. Langus was one of the last as they swing into the straight and here's Tomo. Thank you, John, thank you. John, it's a full start. Pull up, drivers, pull up.
According to Promotions Officer for the Harness Racing Authority, John Kerwick, this weekend is tipped to be the biggest ever for trotting punters in Newcastle.
But I do think that all roads will lead to Newcastle on Saturday night because the Newcastle Club, which has tremendous tradition in harness racing, but on Saturday night it does have the richest race that it has ever conducted, and also the Newcastle Club will be presenting on behalf of Carlton and United Breweries and the Harness Racing Authority of New South Wales, and of course contributing financially itself, the club, to the richest country pacing classic in Australia. It's a $15,000 race.
Where are the trotters coming from?
The entrants and acceptors for that particular race, and indeed for the supporting race, which is an $8,000 classic for 3-year-old fillies, come from all over New South Wales.
So it's the pick of the crop?
It certainly is.
The chairperson of the inquiry, Kerry Spooner, an industrial relations lecturer, told a news conference today thousands of women, many of whom are migrants or mothers, are working under the award, without apparent award coverage or in positions where no award applies. Clothing industry workers, home childcare workers and cleaners were among the most prone to exploitation, she says, and by unscrupulous employers who are reaping the benefits of paying them only low wages and not providing sick leave or workers' compensation entitlements. As head of the inquiry into the status of women in employment in commerce and industry, Kerry and her 9 colleagues representing unions, government and employers are hoping they might be able to identify the problem areas and legislate to protect those involved in them.
However, we will be looking, no doubt, at making recommendations concerning the types of minimum standards that need to be instituted and where, and where appropriate, the sort of enforcement procedures that need to be allowed for to ensure that any legislation which does exist is indeed implemented.
The inquiry is inviting submissions from employers and employees until the 26th of April, with a final report hopefully in the hands of the government by the end of the year. Locally, they can be sent to the Women's Directorate,
yes, if they feel comfortable doing that. What we're specifically after is information concerning the nature of that work, the identification of any problems that people have become aware of with that work, and where possible, submissions concerning the way those problems should be handled.
At 12.2 metres, the Bloodmobile, on tour from Sydney's Parramatta Blood Bank, dwarfs everything around it. The mobile unit was the first of its type and specially designed on a Toyota Hino chassis and the body built by Sydney company Pressed Metal, who have also designed a similar vehicle to be exported to China. A third will be for Newcastle. A special allocation from the state government will cover the cost of the Newcastle unit at $215,000, an extra $35,000 also for special fixtures. Director of the Hunter Blood Transfusion Service, Dr Sandra Deveridge, says that although Newcastle will not receive the new mobile unit until September-October this year, it will be a major boost to donor recruiting when it does arrive.
Well, this is a very exciting new development for us and is really quite different from the small mobile unit that we've been using in the past. As you can see, this bus is a bleed-on facility. We have 6 bunks on here where we can have 6 donors at a time to be bled. The unit is fully air-conditioned and it's specially designed to suit our needs during a mobile bleeding session.
But how are you going to manage until your Bloodmobile does arrive?
Sydney Red Cross, now that they have this beautiful new vehicle, have loaned us their 18-year-old Donormobile, which, although it's very ancient, still enables us to try out our various sites using this type of equipment rather than our old mobile unit.
The State Rail Authority will assess the number of patrons on the Fassifern to Toronto line over the next month to see whether it's worthwhile retaining the service. Chief Executive of the State Rail Authority, David Hill, says the service is losing some $500,000 a year and he's determined to find a more efficient alternative. Mr Hill says he realises the authority's responsibility to provide public transport to the people of Toronto, and he doesn't intend to shrug off that responsibility. High hopes were held for a successful venture when the cooperative was started 18 months ago. All 10 men were retrenched when the Phillips Glass Company closed its doors in 1982. The men, however, were determined not to let their trade fade into oblivion and banded together to form the cooperative and prove that glass blowing could be profitable. The Premier, Mr Rann, officially launched the new venture in December '84, saying he applauded the men's persistence in keeping the trade alive. Sadly, the venture has not been a success and debts have continued to mount.
Misallocation of the resources that were available, particularly the financial resources that were coming from the shareholders themselves, the bank and the Workers' Cooperative Program. The furnaces that needed refurbishment, with the pressure of creditors and poor trading, they reallocated those funds to pay off the creditors rather than fix the furnaces.
There is, however, a light at the end of the tunnel, a faint hope that the age-old art of glass blowing will not be lost to Newcastle.
I've had some discussions today with a number of the major creditors. I've had early discussions with the Workers' Cooperative Program. I've had discussions today with some of the directors who are still very keen that the business may still have a success route. And I think that the outcome of further discussions, and perhaps early next week, we might see whether or not the alternatives can be turned into reality and avoid any final...
We've been working for about 10 years to try and get a complex of this nature going, and this is the second step in it. The first step's the 3 kilometre off-road course, which is already going, and now this is the tar section.
Are you happy with this? the way it's turned
Yeah,
out?
fantastic. Yeah. It's only a fairly short hill climb, but we make it twice as long by coming back down again, which makes it very interesting and a little bit dangerous. But it's the first tar event in Newcastle.
Sunday is a combination of 3 clubs to race here to commemorate the opening, isn't it?
Yes, the MG Car Club, the Newcastle Sporting Car Club, and the lessee of the land, which is the Newcastle Motor Racing Club, are all combining to put on this first event.
What chance are you in this little job, which I know is not designed exactly for this sort of work?
Oh, it's quite quick up a hill climb like this, although it's mainly built for circuit racing. I'd expect to probably be second or third behind the Australian champion. He's running up here, that's Warren Brown.
Right. How many cars do you expect, and what sort of events will the people see that come here?
Well, the only event to be run on Sunday is the hill climb here. We were to have an off-road event, but that's had to be put off. But that'll run all day from 10 o'clock after the official opening by Alan Walsh MP. And, spectators are welcome to come and have a look. And we've got about 30 odd entries so far, but we expect more on the day.
Last year we had 94 boats, and this year we've had 124 entered, so it's a good response.
And you're going backhanded, really, around Pulborough to what you used to?
Yes, we normally run clockwise, running from Toronto, but this year running from Belmont, we're running anti-clockwise, which is the more conventional way, and they pass the course boys, the red boys, on their left-hand side.
This particular boat is just an example of one of the bigger type boats, but it's a bit of a prototype as regards this rear end, Chris, I believe.
Yes, we're pretty excited about it. We at Argo Marine have built this over the last 12 months. It's a prototype that we've tested extensively over probably the last 3 months, and this will be its first race, and if it's successful it could prove a spot in the marketplace.
Well, you're hoping for big things. Apparently it has the ability to not only get you out of the water, but to be able to be trimmed during the running of the boat to its perfect position in the water.
Yes, it's the surface drive leg does trim vertically, so for pulling the skis out of the water, you stick the propeller into the water, which gives you good thrust out of the water, and then to get the thing going when you're trimming, when you're at speed, you bring the leg progressively higher out of the water until you're running it level with the water or slightly higher, depending on the water.
I believe they go better with the prop actually catching a bit of air and sort of causing the milkshake effect, if you like.
That's the semi-surfacing effect. Only the blades below the centre of the prop shaft are doing the work. The ones above are not doing the work.
We're talking about what sort of speeds with skiers behind for Sunday's race then?
In this particular boat, around 80 mile an hour. The quicker boats up to 100 mile an hour.
Big Dog's companions for his visit to the children's ward were either NBN identities from the Big Dog and Friends show, Kelly, Milton and Hubert the Super Magician. It was a big occasion for many of the youngsters who were tickled pink to meet one of their favourite TV characters.
Good, how you feeling? Alright.
Big Dog happy birthday with a kiss.
Milton, could you help me like this?
Of course there was a birthday cake and more birthday wishes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Big Dog. Happy birthday to you. Hip, hooray! Hip, hooray! Hip, hooray! Oh, what was that?
into it. Now comes Clark on the inside. Swinging through the fourth turn. 1 completed, 3 to run. Pine in front. Wilbur in second. Combs in third. Drawn heat so far, and Roger Clark with it all to do. And here he comes on the inside.
There is very little in entertainment for the tourists, or even for the local people, apart from the beaches and the lake, and when you've done your little bits here and there.
The Australian Navy's Oberon class sub slipped through the Newcastle Heads this afternoon for a 3-day visit. The stay is mainly for rest and recreation. Some of the crew heading to the vineyards this weekend. Many of them have ties with Newcastle. The radio supervisor, Mark Thompson, went to school here and his mother still lives at Spears Point. The 90-metre submarine has just returned from Hobart, where it took part in the Navy's 75th anniversary celebrations there. You can visit the Onslow Saturday and Sunday afternoon.
The sport of billy cart racing in Australia is still in its beginnings, but for father and son enthusiasts Ron and Mark Hawkins, training sessions are now underway for the big event in 2 weeks. The track is Powell Street, Charlestown, and already more than 30 entries have been received from around the state in both senior and junior divisions. The Derby is organised by the Charlestown Lions Club, and all proceeds from the day will be given to the Lions Healthcare Foundation for the purchase of medical equipment for various hospitals. It's hoped that the Billy Cart Derby will become an annual event, and if young Mark's performance is any indication of the field, the competition will be tough. It seems that there's something for everyone at the Newcastle Showground, including the man on the land. Cattle judging began today with the Jersey, Illawarra and Ayrshire classes parading before the experts. The judging will continue until Sunday with the grand parade of prize winners in the centre ring late in the afternoon. There's also a chance to see exactly what happens on a dairy with this 4-unit milking machine on display. The agricultural pavilion is well stocked, showing off the best of local produce. The champion fleeces are on display and an exhibition of how it used to be done by the local Spinners and Weavers Club. For the young and old animal lovers, the nursery featuring baby kangaroos, rabbits, lambs and ducklings are there to be cuddled and fed. The furry critters belong to the Oakvale Animal Farm near Williamtown. Nearly all are friendly, except one who just couldn't appreciate a bit of extra attention. And then there's the chooks. Like any other animal, this feathered creature comes in all different shapes and sizes, from the silky white pullets to the blue male leghorns. According to the experts, it takes years of experimenting to perfect breeding techniques. As life member of the Newcastle Poultry Club Leo Walsh explains, fowls like these ones could one day replace man's traditional best friend.
They're your best friend as far as I'm concerned. They are. You can talk to fowls naturally, but as far as I'm concerned too, I just love the things that much that you just can't help it. You just got to like them, you know.
Right, that's